back to the studio and thank you for joining me for another episode of Throwback Thursday. So we're getting closer to Christmas now and I'm still using the Christmas sets. Hold on one second and let me mute myself off of my laptop that I have sitting here. We don't need to hear me twice. So let me just adjust this a little bit so we look a little bit straighter here. And there's this tiny little bit of a delay. Okay, little bit this way. I don't want to mess around with it too much. So this Throwback Thursday, this is, what is today? Today is the 19th. I'm doing this in advance, so so pardon me on, trying to figure out dates and all that. So I'm trying to get a lot of my pre-recorded content done ahead of time and get that all scheduled. And then of course, this coming Friday and next Friday, I will be actually going live. Those will not be pre-recorded. Be sure to join me tomorrow night, on the 20th, December 20th, as I go live. I will be featuring the Filled with Fun bundle. Now, the stamp set and the set of dies that actually coordinates with the Filled with Fun stamp set, and I'm going to be using that set of dies and the Filled with Cheer stamp set. And be sure to join me for that because we're going to do something a little bit different on that one. I'm actually going to have a special guest presenting tomorrow night. So I really hope that you're going to be able to join. And if you can't, watch the replay. I think we're going to have a lot of fun with that. That will be our last Friday night live just before Christmas, and then I will have another one that Friday after Christmas. So be sure to come and join us here in the studio on Friday, December 20th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Okay, so for this, I'm not really going to go over like any housekeeping things, like some of the things that are kind of going on. I'm going to save that for, my Friday night live. There's a lot of things between the catalog and my newsletter and all that. And I have all that information actually in the description of this video. So any of that stuff, if you want to check it out, just click on the link and you'll get all the information from there. So I'm going to get started into the projects because the projects are going to entail some coloring. So they're going to take a little bit of time. So I want to get started. So for this episode, I'm going to be using the Lots of Cheer stamp set. This stamp set, I think, came out back in I think like 2019, I think. Don't quote me on it. I've been working with a few different stamp sets, and to remember what year they're from, I just know it's a retired set. For this, it was a standalone stamp set, so there were no dies or any punches that coordinated with it. But I will be using some dies in the projects that I will be making for this episode. So let me take this and let me pull out the stamp that I'm going to be using. So one of the stamps is this gift package snowman. I'm going to be using that. And then the greeting, may your Christmas be wrapped in holiday spirit. I'm going to use that on this first card as well. And the second card, I'm going to be using this Jingle Bell wreath right here. And then I already have this Happiest Christmas is stamp already mounted on a block. So let me get my box here and we'll put these on here and then we have that all done. And let me see, this one should fit right on here. I'm not worried about lining this one up straight because I'm going to be punching it out. Okay, so let me bring in the pieces for the first card. So I have a piece of Poppy Parade. This measures 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. Let me check something really quick. Um, I'm pretty sure that this video is it's showing unlisted. Okay. I want to make sure it's unlisted. It's showing that there's 3 people viewing it, and I just have my laptop and my phone, so I don't know who the third person who's on here watching. It's top secret, I guess. Okay. Sorry about that. Little squirrel moment. So Poppy Parade, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. I have a piece of basic white. This measures 5.25 by 4. Let me just make sure. Yeah, that's 5.25 by 4. I have a piece of, this is the Brights 6 by 6 DSP. Now, this one, what year? I don't know what year this one's from. This definitely is a retired set. Every year with our annual catalog Stampin' Up, they continue to have the packages of the designer series paper and 6 by 6 in all the color collections. So in the brights, the subtles, the regals, and the neutrals, what they do is they just change up the patterns in the pack. So this one is not the recent one, most recent one. This is from a couple of years ago. So I took out a piece of the Granny Apple green colored one, and we're going to be using this pattern here. And then I have, let's see, I have 2 scrap pieces of basic white that we're going to do our stamping and coloring on. I have a piece of Poppy Parade. This measures 5.25 by 1/4 inch. And then out of a scrap of Smoky Slate, I have die cut this oval. This is the largest oval out of the Stitched Shapes set of dies. So these are pretty old too, and these are retired as well. And so that's all the pieces that I have for this. So I'm going to start off with folding and burnishing this card base. Okay, and let's see, I can probably start assembling some things on here. So this piece of basic white, I'm going to bring in my liquid glue to adhere this. I'm going to add some glue onto this piece, and then I'm going to add this centered on my card base. Now this piece I'm not doing any stamping on, so that's why I can just take this and adhere this onto here. Okay. And then this piece of DSP, I'm going to add some adhesive to this. Okay. And then over on the right hand side here, I'm going to add this, leaving a little bit of a border. Try to make it like an equal border around 3 sides of that cardstock, like so. And then on this piece of Poppy Parade, I'm going to add some glue on here. Okay, and then this I'm going to add right here over the SP. So you could do the same effect too with some ribbon as well. But I don't think I have any thin Poppy Parade ribbon. Okay, then let's do some stamping and put that aside. Actually, I can take, let me take this because there's nothing going underneath it or anything. So I'm going to add some glue onto the back of this. And then I'm going to add this. Make sure my card base is straight. And I'm going to add that right here. Make sure that I'm straight with it. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to set that aside, let that sit. Only thing left with that is to take all of our elements and then add that onto our card when we're done with it. Okay, so let's see. Which is which? Okay, so that's going to go on that piece. All right, so for my snowman, I'm going to stamp him in the Memento Tuxedo Black ink. And then my greeting, I am going to stamp that in Poppy Parade. What I like about Poppy Parade, it's compared to Real Red, it has a little bit of what I see like a little bit of an orange undertone in it. So it's a little bit brighter, so it's a nice color. So this greeting, I'm going to ink this up. And I'm going to stamp that right here in the middle. Like so. You can see that's just a really pretty bright red. Okay, we'll close that up. And then we'll set that aside for a second. And then I'm going to ink up the snowman. This is one of those really cute stamp sets that shameful little admission that this is the first time, well, basically when I did my sample cards, the first time that I've added ink to this stamp set. So I have a lot of stamp sets that are like that where I got them, you know, before they retired, but I never used them up until like now. So it's one of the reasons why doing a Throwback Thursday, it gives me that opportunity to, you know, now go back. Let me add a little bit of spritz to my thing. Hold on one second. Yeah, so a lot of stamp sets I haven't put into because they ended up retiring, and at that point, if I do my videos, usually I do, you know, most demos are going to use what you can still get. One of the reasons why I wanted to do my Throwback Thursdays was it gave me the opportunity to use retired stock that I have. I have a whole lot of retired stuff, so I definitely have plenty to work with. And also, I have received comments as well from people that they like that I am using retired stuff because they may have it. Plus, it gives them ideas, you know, pull it out and do something with that particular set. Now, with the greeting, I'm going to do some punching with this one, and we're going to do like a custom sized label. So this is the Labeled with Love punch. I don't know if it's going to glare or not yet. It's going to kind of glare. This is actually in our annual catalog, so you can still get this punch. Now the punch piece is a little bit big, so I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. So I'm going to punch this out. I'm going to line this up closer to over to the right hand side here, centering it, and then I'm going to punch it out. Then I'm going to come in with my punch piece and I'm going to pull this through, and then I'm going to kind of line this up where I want to punch it over on the left hand side. So you can see that the top and the bottom here are lined up, and then I'm going to punch that. So now my punched piece is a little bit smaller, and then here is what was left over. So one of the ways that you can make your punches go a little bit further in use. Okay, so then I'll take that, I'll set that aside. And now on this piece, we're going to do some coloring. So let me find, uh, trying to find a piece of scrap paper to put underneath this, because trying to find a clean piece, because when you use alcohol markers, they are going to bleed behind that to the back of the cardstock. Okay, so then for this one, I am going to bring in my light and dark Granny Apple Green, and let's see, is this Poppy Parade? And my light and dark Poppy Parade. And I also have my dark Pumpkin Pie and the light Basic Black. All right, and hopefully my light Poppy Parade is going to hold up, because I've been using it a lot, so I'm really hoping it's going to hold up so I can do this card. So I'm going to color in this whole bow here on this top package of his body. Now, I'm not going to go really crazy as far as doing a lot of blending of these colors, only because a lot of these areas are not that big. And so I'll do a little bit, but I'm not going to keep going back and forth with the blending. And then I'm going to come in and do every other spot here on his scarf. Again, this is Light Poppy Parade. So I'm pretty excited about tomorrow night's live. My friend Yvonne, some of you, if you've been here and watched my Friday night lives, she's a friend, and she's also part of my Blue City Stampers team. And she comes to visit almost every weekend, not every weekend. And, we'll do some crafting over the weekend. And of course, when I go to do my lives, if there's ever a time that I need some that I forgot, she's always been very helpful with that. And you would usually see her in the chat box. And so she has a desire to do some videos at some point. She needs to, get her set up, where she's going to do her videos, and then the right type of equipment. Nothing, extravagant or anything like that, as to what she's going to use to do her recording. So it was funny, about a week or so ago, I said to her, it's like, okay, because we like to joke back and forth. I told her that, okay, guess who's gonna do my Friday night live on the next live, and she thought that I was joking. I said, you think I'm joking? But I was actually just joking. I mean, if she was really going to start feeling very, very nervous and feel sick about it and all that, then yeah, I wasn't going to put her through that. Okay, so I'm going to let those areas of that light Poppy Parade to dry before I go over with the dark. I'm going to bring in the dark Pumpkin Pie. I'm going to do his nose. And so, before I said anything last Friday when I was live, because she wasn't here, and she wasn't with us while I was live. And so I asked her today and to see if she still wanted to do it. And she said, yeah, she'll do it. And of course, we'll have a little practice run, before I go live. This is the light Granny Apple Green. And so we're going to do a practice run. And yeah, when it comes to the projects, I mean, I'll probably do like the housekeeping stuff and the introduction and all that. And she will when it comes to, doing the projects, she'll create, she'll take the helm and she'll create those. Now, I don't know if we'll have her actually be on camera. We'll see. We'll see about that. That's totally up to her. If she's not ready for that, that's fine. I'm not going to pressure her into it. And now these other areas here of this scarf, I'm going to color those into with the light granny apple green. And I'm kind of going at this with a light touch because I don't want this to bleed into, the poppy parade or where I don't want it. And there's a corner of the box like right there, so I don't want to be coloring that part in. Yeah, so it ought to be fun. I can't believe that we have Christmas like literally next week when you're watching this. If you're watching this the day that I post this, this is going to be posted at 5 a.m. Central Standard Time on Thursday the 19th. Okay, so I got those parts colored in. Then I'm going to come in with my light basic black and I'm going to color in his hat. Now, if I did the dark basic black, you wouldn't see any of the details in this hat. The light basic black, you can still see what's going on. Okay, and then off on the sides, I'm just going to come in and add a little bit more color. So that'll be like the shadows. I mean, it's going to lighten up some, but we're going to kind of keep that simple. All right, so now I'm going to bring in my dark poppy parade. And then in some of these areas, I'm just going to add a little bit to give that shadow. The colors are really close, so you don't see much of a difference. A little bit. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to add just a little bit on these stripes here. And on this side. All right, so you can see a bit of the difference there, not a whole lot. And then I'm going to take my dark granny apple green and I'm going to come in and add a little bit my bows here. Like so. Oh, and then we got the scarf. And of course, this is going to lighten up some as it dries. All right, and then on the ends of the scarf, I'm going to add some fringe onto that scarf as well. Okay, so there is our snowman. Now again, this stamp set does not have a set of dies to it, so that means fussy cutting. So let me get these markers out of the way, and we'll move this out of the way. And ahead of time, I went ahead and I already pre-stamped, pre-colored, and pre-cut one out for our card. So let me bring all this in. So on the back of my snowman, I'm going to bring in my dimensionals. And we'll add a few on here, like so. And then we're going to add some to the back of our greeting. Okay. And then let's take our backings off. Okay, and then we'll put our snowman right here in the center. Whoops, I'll make sure that I'm straight here. And we're going to place him right here, like so. And then our greeting. Okay, and we'll add that. We're going to take this and we're going to tuck it right under our snowman a little bit here. And place that right there. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my Wink of Stella. And I'm going to color the ribbon and the bows. Ooh, there's a lot that came out there. Do these package ribbons and bows. And I'm going to also do the scarf and his hat. The one thing that I like about when I put Wink of Stella on areas that I've colored with my blends, other than it adding, you know, some of that sparkle to it, I also like that it makes these colors a little bit more vibrant as well. Really makes them stand out. I'm going to add some there, and then we got one other spot here. Okay, so that, oh, we need the hat too. Okay. And then we're going to add some embellishment to this. And for this one, I'm going to bring in our rhinestone basic jewels. These, we still carry these. These are in our annual catalog. And in this package, you get quite a few of the really small ones. So I'm going to use 3 of those. Add one there. And then I'll add 2 more up here. Okay, so let me get that out of the way. And there we go. There is our cute first card. So let me bring in the stuff now for our second card. Okay. Set that aside. Okay, I'll put that down there. Okay, so for this one, I pre-stamped my wreath using the Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and then I used this circle here. This is the oval, but I used this circle here, and I had die cut it ahead of time just to save some time. We're going to color this in. And then also from the set of dies, there's a square. So out of a scrap piece of real red, I die cut that. Then I have my card base. This is shaded spruce. This measures 8.5 by 5.5. I've scored it at 4 1/4. And then I have a piece of basic white that measures 5 1/4 by 4. So I'm going to fold and burnish this. And then let me go grab my my Stampin' Trimmer really quick, because we're going to do a cool technique on this piece here. Okay, so I have my trimmer, and I apologize if you're seeing any glaring at all. Okay, so on this piece of basic white, I am going to take this edge here. I'm going to line it up with this line, this mark right here. So this is the 1/4 inch mark. I'm going to line that up right there. And then on your trimmer, you have 2 blades on here. So you have a lighter one and there's a darker one. The darker one is your cutting blade. We do not want that. We want the lighter one. So I'm going to go and score that. Then I am going to move this over 1/8 of an inch. So all these little lines here, those sixteenths of an inch. So I'm going to scoot this over 1/8 of an inch. And then I'm going to score again. And then I'm going to scoot it over another eighth of an inch. So now I am scoring, what is this now? This would be at 1/2 an inch. Okay, and then I'm going to flip it over, turn it around, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to line it up at 1/4, move it over 1/8 of an inch, and then 1/8 of an inch again. Okay, so there we go. So we got our score marks there, but we're actually going to use this side. So this part here, what we just scored, is raised up. Let's see if you can see that. I don't know if you can see that very well, the way the lighting is. Hopefully it's not all blurry too. Okay, so let me get this out of the way. We're done with this. Okay, so then with this piece, we're going to stamp our greeting. So I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Pierce mat, and now this is good for using photopolymer stamps because the photopolymers don't have that foam cushioning like our red rubber stamps have. But I need to make sure that I'm stamping this straight. Now I already have this stamp on this block, and when I go to stamp, of course, I don't have the sticker on the back of it. So I'm going to line up this bottom edge to this to where the cardstock is, so that way I know that I'm stamping this straight. I'm going to stamp this in my real red ink now. Let me get that. Okay, put that there. I'm going to bring this down a little bit so I can see it a little bit better. Let's make sure we have it the right way up. And ink this all up. Okay, and then I'm going to try looking at this to see if I'm kind of centered between those score marks. I may be off a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. And I'm going to stamp our greeting. So there we go. Hopefully you can see that scoring that we did there. Okay, now I'm going to take this out of the way, close up our ink. Real red's any red color is one of those colors you don't want to have all of that, anything with that ink sitting out, because for some reason red's attracted to especially like white cardstock, and we don't want, you know, any smudges of red on anything. Okay, everything is clean, so that's good. All right, let me bring in, let's see what I do with that scrap paper. Let me bring that back in. So now with this one, I'm using my real red and shaded spruce markers. I'm going to start off with, let's see, my light. Now let's hope that when I go to take this off that my whole thing doesn't come apart. Yeah, it came apart. I need to replace this one. It looks like it's cracked like right on the side. So now I got to fight to get the cap off of this. Okay, cap's off. And then this will snap right back in place like so. Okay, I'm going to come in and all of these jingle bells, I'm going to color them in using the light shaded spruce. It does look a little dark, but it will lighten up some as it dries. So when I was doing my last Friday Night Live, um, one of my followers, she lives up in Canada, and I had asked her if that postal strike was still going on up there, and she said that they finally ended that. So that's really good. So now I don't have to worry about the card that I just mailed her. What I do on my Friday Night Lives, if you've never been with me when I was live, what I do at the very end, so I have pinned up in the chat box a link that takes you to a Google spreadsheet, and you add your name there. And at the very end, I do a drawing, a wheel of names for 3 winners of the cards that I made that particular night. And because there weren't that many people on there, I believe there were 4, and in the end, there were 5. Everybody got a card. And so I had anybody that's new, if they're new and I choose them, if I don't have their addresses, I just ask them to send me an email with their mailing address, and then I mail out the cards to them. Now I don't write anything in the cards, so those that win those cards are free to reuse the card if they like. Or maybe they want to keep it just for inspiration. That's fine too. Okay, we're almost there. So yeah, I got those cards sent out. So hopefully they'll get those cards before I go live again. Oops, let's not color my fingers. And then let me come up here and then get these bells that are inside and underneath this bow. Okay, so now I'm going to let that dry a little bit, and I'm going to do the same thing I did with the last card that we did. I'm not going to go crazy on the blending of everything, and so to see the dark shaded spruce, I want to let this layer dry first. Then I'm going to come in with my light real red, and I'm going to do this bow. I actually have the projects all done and ready to be recorded for my Throwback Thursday next week. So the day after Christmas, I'm going to be filming that here right after I'm done with this, and then schedule that for next week. And I'm just trying to get my pre-recorded stuff done in advance. So then that way, you know, I have some time to just chill out and everything around the holidays. Now, my other pre-records, I'm going to be doing something on for Christmas Eve and for Christmas Day. And at some point by the 31st, I'm going to come up with another video. Maybe it'll be New Year's Eve. I don't know yet. The reason why is I add that extra video and then I end 2024 with 190 videos on my YouTube channel. Okay, so the dark, I'm going to just come in and I'm just going to add a little bit of like shadow. I'm not going to go crazy on this. Just do a little bit on here. I'll go around the bow here. And so I'm looking to try and end 2024 with 190 videos. I started doing my pre-recorded stuff near the end of September of 2023. And I've been going ever since. And then my lives, I started those, I think it was January 26th of this year. So a lot more content coming. Okay, I just want to add, I'm not going crazy because honestly, there's a lot of jingle bells on here. So I'm just adding a little bit. Okay, I think we're good on this. We don't need to go crazy on it. Okay, I think that's good. All right, and now I'm going to come in with my dark real red, and I'm going to add some dark here. That. Like so. Okay. Now let's get that out of the way. And let's bring in all our pieces. So I'm going to bring in my liquid glue again. And I'm going to glue this piece down onto my card base. Okay, let's center this like so. Okay. Press that down. Okay, and then this die cut piece of real red. Some glue to the back of this. And I'm going to center that right here. Make sure that I'm straight. Okay, that looks good. Right? Does it look straight? Make sure it's straight before that glue completely dries. Okay, and then for this wreath piece here, I'm going to add some dimensionals to the back of this, and I got my edge pieces here, and I'm just going to cut some up. And I'm going to add some cut. All right. Definitely no waste when it comes to the dimensionals. The edge pieces are just as good as the hexagon ones. And then I'm going to center this right on top of that piece of real red. And then I'm going to bring in my Wink Stella and my Take Your Pick tool, because we're going to add a few of these rhinestones as well. Trying to get this where it's not, the lights aren't shining on that acetate. Okay, and then I'm just going to add some onto these jingle bells and on the bow. Okay, and then I Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to use these small ones again, and this time I'm going to just take 3 of them, and I'm just going to go right down the line, right next to each other. That one, take that one, let's stick that one right there. So very simple layout with embellishments. Okay, so there is our second card. So let me bring in the first one. So we used that that gift snowman, and we used the jingle bell wreath out of that stamp set. And in the stamp set, in addition, there's also an ornament here, and then there's a few other greetings like Joyful Season, Lots of Cheer at Christmas at Always, and Always. And again, I think this may have been 2018 or 19 when this stamp set came out. So if you like the projects, so thank you for joining me first. If you like the projects that I have made, please give the video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. It not only helps me in growing this channel, but then it also helps me in growing my Stampin' Up! Business as well. So I hope that you will join me tomorrow night, Friday, December 20th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm going to have my special guest stamper joining us for that live, and it ought to be a lot of fun. So I hope you can join us at that time. And if not, the replay will be out there as well. So until then, everyone, have a blessed one. Bye-bye.